following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and today I'm going to conduct a performance evaluation on the Belize 66 Daybridge by Riviera. This one offers 2 operating stations, one for foul weather down below and the other one right here in this sky bridge. Let's take a look here first. As helms go, this upper operating station has a lot to like. First of all, it's center mounted, so we've got great visibility. Soft touch dash underneath, twin 21-inch displays from Garmin. In the center, engine displays. Just below, a 17-inch Garmin display. Beautifully trimmed steering wheel in wood. C-Zone control panel, JL audio, and the remote spotlight. And I also like that there are climate control vents that we can aim right at the operator. To my left, the digital engine controls, the IPS joystick, electrical switches, including the horn that I'd like to see stand out a little bit better. More importantly, the control for the forward displays is right alongside, so I don't need to lean forward to use them. And also, this is equipped with joystick steering, so I can control the boat from this relaxed position. And speaking of comfort, look at these seats. They're from Salto. The helm seat is electrically controlled up, down, fore and aft, and recline. There's a flip-down footrest. And to starboard, there are 2 forward-facing observer seats and an aft-facing seat. Now this joystick really lends itself more to joystick steering. For coming into the dock, not so much. I'd like to see one on each side of the aft end of this skybridge for better visibility coming into the dock. The lower helm is standard on this boat. Optionally, it can be removed in lieu of additional seating or storage. It's starboard side mounted. Compass is directly on top of a soft padded panel, directly in line with the helm. 21-inch Garmin display just above. Engine displays. Really happy to see vent fans, especially with so much glass. The visibility is outstanding on this boat. Beautiful finished wood wheel. There's a C-Zone control panel to the right, then a Seakeeper gyro, then the digital throttle and shift. Just behind that is the control panel for the 21-inch display up front, so you can control it while you're sitting back. And speaking of while you're sitting back, notice the joystick is on the armrest. This has joystick steering, so you can still control the entire boat while you're sitting back in the relaxed position. Speaking of relaxed, guess what I would like to see underneath? A flip-down footrest. This comfortable seat is from Italian manufacturer Salto. It's electrically adjustable, fore and aft, as well as recline, and I'd like to see self-leveling armrests. There's also a flip bolster. Now in the hardtop version of this boat, the helm is center mounted. In the cockpit, there's a control station to the port side and another one over to starboard. Underneath the top step to the aft deck, there's a freshman wall water washdown, controls for the platform, the garage, overhead lights, courtesy lights, underwater lights, and the garage lights. Plus we've also got the 50-amp shore power cord on an electric cord reel. To the port hand side, there's another 50-amp shore power cord, the phone and TV inlets, plus the city water inlet. Just above, a Muir warping winch, 14-inch cleat, and then double chocks leading in 2 different directions. Controls are at the bottom. This, of course, is repeated to the opposite side. As we make our way to the side decks, it's hard not to notice this beautiful teak trim piece, gloss varnished, and it matches the trim work on the inside of the cockpit. The side decks have an average width of 18 inches. The rails top out at 30 inches, far exceeding ABYC standards. 2 midship cleats, 14 inches each. I'll tell you what, it's hard not to appreciate this wraparound panoramic windshield. 3 pieces, the center, 7 feet 3 inches by 4 feet 6 inches. 29-inch brow above, and notice how the teak that started aft at the side deck wraps all the way around. The ground tackle consists of a Muir windlass, feeding 75 meters of chain through 1 chain stopper and another chain protector, and then out to a through-the-stem anchor roller. The anchor in this case, a 45-kilogram ultra anchor with a stainless steel swivel. To the right is access to the road locker. To the left, underneath this hatch, is the fresh and raw water washdown plus a power washer and the remote control for the windlass. To both sides are teak platforms supporting 14-inch cleats, leading out to chocks that go into 2 different directions, and then there's chafing gear just outside of that. There are 4 access points in the cockpit deck to the engine room, 2 at the stern that give you access to the pods, and 2 just ahead, and there's still another access point through the master stateroom. The main focal point of the engine room being the 1,000 horsepower IPS 1350 engines. Jack shafts will connect the engines to the pods just behind. In the center of the pods, a Seakeeper 16, just ahead, 29 kW generator. Battery boxes alongside that, and I'm sitting on another one right here. Air conditioning systems are behind me. There's a water recovery system, and further ahead, the 240 volt battery control panel and the 24 volt DC. At the forward bulkhead below the battery control panels are all of the Raycor fuel filter and water separators. And of course, it's hard not to notice the underside of the tender garage.
Overall, there's definitely an element of care, thoughtful design, and certainly engineering that went into this engine room. Being an upscale brand, we expect an elevated level of attention to detail, but this is clearly next level.
Rails are put into sockets on the platform to accommodate launching the tender. The garage can hold up to a 10-foot tender with the outboard attached.
Now let's look at the numbers. The Belize 66 has a length overall of 69 feet 2 inches, a beam of 17 feet 11 inches, and a draft of 5 feet 3 inches. With an empty weight of 77,195 pounds, full fuel, 41% water, and 4 people on board, we were heavily laden at an estimated test weight of 85,741 pounds. With the twin 1,000 horsepower IPS 1350s run up to 2470 RPM, our speed topped out at 32.1 knots. We found her maximum range to be at 18.8 knots, but she seemed more at home pushing it a little bit faster to 2100 RPM and 25.5 knots. It was at that speed that the 68.5 gallon per hour fuel burn worked out to 0.4 nautical miles per gallon and a range of 398 nautical miles, all while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 1,189 gallon total fuel supply. As for her handling, it's mind-blowing. Her hull is so efficient that she comes up on plane in an average 10.6 seconds and at a nearly level attitude, so there's no interruption in forward visibility, and she remains comfortable inside. Once up on plane, she's smooth and efficient with a strong, solid feel to her. Once the turbos kick in, so does her speed, and she'll cruise right on through 20 miles per hour in 16.2 seconds. Bringing the speed back, she'll stay on plane right on down to 14.2 knots. Regrettably, we didn't get an opportunity to test her offshore handling and were limited to crossing waves to reveal the expected smooth transitions across the waves with no hull slap and the ride remaining dry. I say regrettably because these boats are well known for their blue water handling characteristics, and our previous tests have verified that. But all that pales to the turning capabilities of the 66. She handles like a sport boat. Let me say that again. She handles like a sport boat. She turns in roughly 1 boat length at full speed and comes around 180 degrees in 12 seconds flat. It's just not supposed to happen this way in an IPS-powered boat, where they would normally take up the whole width of your average river to come around, and you practically time the turns with a calendar. It was just a thrill ride, but still remaining comfortable inside with nothing getting tossed to the outside of the turn. It was just crazy how well this boat handled. Bringing her into the dock was, of course, a non-event. She responds well to the joystick and requires no adjustments for one under the other being more responsive. She'll slide to the side perfectly even. Just don't get heavy-handed on the stick and all maneuvers will be precise.
I have to say I'm very impressed with not only the handling characteristics, but the close quarters maneuverability of the Belize 66. I think the only missing ingredient would be a bow thruster. That would bring it home and make it a complete picture. But other than that, very impressive yacht. And that's my full performance evaluation on the Belize 66 Daybridge from Riviera. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve, and I'll see you on the water.